In the NFL, sometimes one move, one player can flip the entire script. A superstar with that rare X factor that can ignite a spark, turning a playoff hopeful into a Super Bowl powerhouse. The Green Bay Packers already looked like a team on the verge. A dynamic young quarterback, a fast, fearless offense, a defense on the rise. But then came that trade. Micah Parsons, the defensive game wrecker, has arrived to give this unit an entirely different ceiling, making them must-watch entertainment and, more importantly, a Super Bowl contender. It's official. This Green Bay Packers defense is terrifying. Let's be honest, when it comes to headlines, it's often NFL offenses that get all the glory. It's the quarterbacks, receivers, or running backs who are considered the superstars of the league. But as has been shown time and time again, defenses can make or break the success of a team, paving the way for the famous mantra, defense wins championships. We don't have to look too far into the past to see dominant teams that were anchored by their defensive play. Just think of the Legion of Boom in Seattle, or the vicious Broncos defensive unit that won them a Super Bowl in the 2015 season. That's why this Micah Parsons trade changes everything for the Packers and their short-term goals. Adding a generational pass rusher to an already outstanding defense and combining that with a lethal offense means you're going to cause some problems in the league. It is a move that has already completely changed the outlook of the 2025 NFL season, and it all began on August 28th. For Dallas fans, this was a fateful day that they are surely worried will haunt them for decades to come. For Green Bay fans, it was a glorious day in which they truly started to believe they could win a Super Bowl. For neutrals, I think it's fair to say that many jaws were on the floor because Micah Parsons was almost certainly the Dallas Cowboys' most important player aside from Dak Prescott. The rumors had been circling, but few expected owner Jerry Jones to be willing to part with his superstar player, no matter the price. The Packers would be receiving one of the best defensive players in the league and a surefire Hall of Famer in his prime, instantly transforming their defense into one of the NFL's best. In his 4 seasons in the league, Parsons has been an absolute menace, terrorizing offensive linemen and hunting down quarterbacks for fun. He has already collected an impressive resume that features an NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year award, as well as 3 total All-Pro team selections, including 2 first-team honors. He's been one of, if not the best pass rushers in the league since his arrival, and what makes him so special is his insane combination of strength, speed, and agility, powering through and around offensive linemen of all shapes and sizes. When Parsons is on the field, offenses have to set up their blocking schemes to account for his X-Factor abilities, diverting much more attention in his direction and therefore exposing themselves with weaker protection elsewhere. Of course, it's his pass rush that's his bread and butter and the main reason he is on the football field, to get to the quarterback. Since his arrival in the league, he has managed to get over 10 sacks every season while boasting a 20.3% quarterback pressure rate, which, as you can probably guess, leads all edge rushers since 2021. What makes that even more impressive is that Parsons faces double teams more than almost all other edge rushers, with him being doubled on 35% of his snaps in 2023. This opens up opportunities for his teammates, who, as a result, are facing way more preferential matchups. And even when he is facing these double teams, you bet Micah still finds a way to impact the quarterback. This is the benefit of having a superstar edge. Even though he hasn't led the league in sacks in any of his 4 seasons, he's moving the quarterback off his spot, making it harder for them to make completions, while also pushing them into the waiting arms of other pass rushers. To put it simply, his game-changing plays don't always show up in the box score. As a result, the arrival of Parsons in Green Bay came with big expectations, and the fanfare his arrival created was evident from the moment he stepped on the field in his opening game for the Packers against the Detroit Lions in Week 1 of the 2025 season. Despite suffering from a lingering back issue and having little time to get acquainted with the Packers system, Parsons displayed why Green Bay was willing to give up 2 first-rounders for his services, getting a sack and creating opportunities for others with his pressure while playing in just half of the defensive snaps. Parsons helped the Packers completely shut down a Lions offense that was the highest scoring in the league in 2024, holding them to just 246 total yards and a lone late touchdown. The addition of Parsons to the Green Bay defensive line transformed what was already a very good pass rushing unit to one of the most lethal in the league. Aside from Parsons, the Packers also have edge rushers like Rashawn Gary and Lucas Van Ness, who are at very different stages of their careers and both stand to benefit a ton from Micah's arrival. Rashawn Gary has proven himself to be one of the more consistent edge rushers since entering the league. His breakout year came in 2021 when he collected 9.5 sacks and 2 forced fumbles. An injury caused him to miss half of his 2022 campaign, but he rebounded well to collect 9 and 7.5 sacks in 2023 and 2024 respectively. He is a high-quality defensive player, and the idea of having to stop both him and Parsons is terrifying. This has already been proven out there on the field in 2025, with Gary on track to set career highs across the board. Lucas Van Ness also looks set to benefit greatly from the addition of Parsons. After being drafted in the first round in 2023, Van Ness has shown he has near endless potential and a good combination of power and size. The Packers see him as their edge rusher of the future, and will hope he can develop under the tutelage of Parsons and Gary, and eventually become a superstar. Although his path towards becoming a starter is now even more complicated, Van Ness will see plenty of game time, filling in for either Parsons or Gary when necessary. He will not be seen as the primary threat, which will provide him with plenty of opportunities to get after the quarterback. The sky is the limit for this edge rushing unit. They were already good enough to finish 8th in the league in sacks in 2024, and it's hard to see a scenario where they don't improve on that this time around. Moving on to the interior of the defensive line, there were some question marks about how their run defense would fare after losing Kenny Clark in the Parsons trade. The Packers' run defense in 2024 was firmly in the top half in terms of both yards and touchdowns allowed, but they were now losing their best interior defender in order to get their guy in Parsons. So far, in the early stages of the 2025 season, it has become clear that Colby Wooden and Devontae Wyatt will fill the hole left by Clark just fine. In the opener against the Lions, Wooden and Wyatt were consistently winning the interior battle and not giving up any holes that Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery could exploit. The Detroit duo was one of the most devastating combinations in 2024, combining for over 2,000 rushing yards and 28 touchdowns, but the Packers' defensive line made them look fairly pedestrian, limiting them to just 19 and 25 yards rushing respectively with no touchdowns. Then, in Week 2, another one of the 2024 season's best offenses in Washington could only muster up 51 yards on the ground. Much like the edge rushers, once Parsons begins playing more snaps, the interior defense should only benefit and take their level of play up a notch. Although headlined by the front five, the Packers have plenty of talent elsewhere and are looking like a near complete package. The linebacker core is headlined by Edgerrin Cooper, who was a revelation in his rookie season and looks set to have a big year and continue his upward trajectory. They also have Quay Walker at the Mike position, who provides speed and coverage options. There is limited experience in this linebacker room, but the quality is clear to see, especially with Cooper, who could well emerge as a star at the position. Between him, Parsons, and a safety we are going to speak about very shortly, Packers fans have got to feel pretty good about the star-studded core of this defensive unit. The football season is here, and this year, I'll be using ProfitX as my go-to for season-long plays and player props. ProfitX is America's #1 sports prediction market, where you can win real money predicting sports in 40+ states. You'll get better odds than traditional sports books because you're playing against others, not the house. With ProfitX, you can request your own odds, play with confidence, and get super fast payouts straight to your bank, card, or even crypto. And here's the best part. Right now, if you sign up at ProfitX.co and use promo code TDK, you'll get up to $200 in profit cash on all your plays for the first 30 days. Sign up now at ProfitX.co and start winning real money predicting sports. Terms and conditions apply. For a very long time, when you thought of the Green Bay Packers defensive backs, the first name that would pop into your head would be Jair Alexander. The multiple-time All-Pro corner was traded in the offseason, with the Packers now turning towards Nate Hobbs to plug that gap. Alexander was always a high-end talent when on the field, but the injury bug has hit him hard, and the team likely feels as if his departure won't be too much of a problem, especially as Hobbs is a very reliable option coming in. Hobbs was the big offseason acquisition, but he features mostly as a nickel specialist, playing in the slot while Carrington Valentine and Keyshawn Nixon handle the outside coverage. Xavier McKinney will undoubtedly be the leader of this pass defense, using his athleticism and football IQ to make plays and cover deep threats. This was on full display last year when earning his first team All-Pro nod, leading the team with 8 interceptions. Playing next to McKinney is Evan Williams, who played his way into the starting unit in his rookie season and could be ready to have a big year in 2025. He has already snagged an interception this year, which is great for Packers fans to see. It's clear that these boys are going to be a nightmare to pass the ball on all year. In the first 2 weeks of the 2025 season alone, they have faced Detroit and Washington, 2 of the best and most explosive offenses from the 2024 season. And how many passing yards did they give up? Just 379 across both games. When you factor in the 4 sacks that the defensive line collected in both of the first 2 games, taking them to 8 in total, you have to say that is a very promising start to the season. Top to bottom, the Green Bay Packers look set to hound opposition offenses in 2025. They are, of course, led by Micah Parsons, but a supporting act of stars like Xavier McKinney and Rashawn Gary is also incredibly exciting. Then, as you would expect with a team who have been the youngest in the NFL for a few years now, there is plenty of quality young talent to watch grow as well, with Lucas Van Ness, Edgerrin Cooper, and Evan Williams all expected to take significant strides forward. This age element is what makes them so scary. They are already playing at such a high level, but there's still so much room for them to improve even more. Honestly, the ceiling is sky high. Their pass rushing will be elite, and the run defense can clog up lanes and make it difficult for opposition backs. The linebackers are athletic and versatile, being able to chip in on rushing plays as well as drop back into coverage. The defensive backs unit is young and anchored by one of the best safeties in the league. Acquiring Micah Parsons is the piece that will turn this Green Bay defense into an elite unit, and it has the makings of a championship caliber team. It's early days, but they have already shown that they can shut down high-octane offenses like the Lions and Commanders and dominate them in every phase of the game, whilst also generating turnovers. Once you factor in how improved the offense looks under a more experienced Jordan Love, with Josh Jacobs in the backfield and a very exciting crop of young receivers, it's hard to see how the Packers shouldn't be one of the biggest favorites for the Super Bowl. And due to their age, maybe this is the beginning of the next great dynasty. It really is an exciting time to be a Green Bay Packers fan, with this team surely set to go deep in the playoffs. The question is, how far can they go? Let me know what you think in the comments.